Today we're going to be verifying that sine squared of theta minus tangent of theta over cosine squared of theta minus cotangent of theta equals tangent squared of theta. So the first step is to change everything to sines and cosines. So you're going to want to take tangent of theta and simplify that to sine of theta over cosine of theta. Then you want to come down to cotangent of theta and simplify that to cosine of theta over sine of theta. Then in the numerator you can simplify sine squared of theta to sine squared of theta over 1 minus sine of theta over cosine of theta. Then in the denominator you can simplify cosine squared of theta to cosine squared of theta over 1 minus cosine of theta over sine of theta. Then, since you have a cosine and sine in both the numerator and denominator, you want to find the least common denominator and multiply by that. So the least common denominator would be sine of theta times cosine of theta. So you want to multiply the numerator by sine of theta times cosine of theta, and then you want to multiply the denominator by sine of theta over cosine of theta. After you multiply and all those out, you get sine cubed of theta times cosine of theta minus sine squared of theta over cosine cubed of theta times sine of theta minus cosine squared of theta.
Since there are two like terms on the top, you are able to factor out a sine squared of theta. And when you factor out a sine squared of theta, you get sine squared of theta times the quantity of sine squared times cosine theta minus 1. When you do the same thing for the bottom, since they're both like terms, you are able to pull out a cosine cubed squared of theta, and that leaves you with cosine squared of theta times the quantity of sine theta times cosine theta minus 1. Since these two quantities on top and bottom are the same, they are able to cancel out, and then you bring down the sine squared theta times cosine, or over cosine squared of theta equals. Those are able to be said to be tangent squared theta, which proves that sine squared theta minus tangent theta over cosine squared theta minus cotangent theta is equal to tangent squared of theta.